and you can't disprove any of this.
You don't have any fucking proof. We're telling the truth. Or are, I mean, yeah, we are. Not or are we? We absolutely are. We never lie. We've never once lied on this podcast.
Well, not purposely.
Hello. Welcome back to Time Well Meant, the podcast where we're not as think as you drunk we are. If you're new to the podcast, or if you're just returning, or if you're joining us for the first time, however it might be, we like to talk about a number of different things. We like to talk about the goings-ons of the internet. We like to talk about gaming, and we like to talk about mental health and how that affects our personal lives. I am Silas, and I'm joined as always by a traveler and journeyer of the world who just recently got back from a very interesting trip. And might I add, before he makes his own introduction, we are partaking in a bit of a beverage. Cheers to everyone who is of age and listening along. Kirby, my wonderful friend, how are you today?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Still trying to get over a little bit of the sicky that I caught while traveling to a majorly populated city on multiple airplanes and bumping shoulders with every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the city. But I had a fucking fantastic time, and I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Hell yeah. You know, I've been all right. I'm here. I'm living. I'm present in the moment. There's ups and downs in life, but we get through them at the end of the day. That's kind of what I think this whole journey of life is about, is dealing with the ups and also dealing with the downs. You know, today, I think you and I both kind of discussed before the podcast, had, not the best of days. Nothing a little liquid courage doesn't help soothe. Not saying that that's the solution to all problems, but, if you're responsible, if you're of age, it's one of those things. Hey, have a drink every now and then. It's not going to kill you. Be responsible, though, obviously. But
had a
holy
rough day
shit.
at work.
Yeah.
A little drink always helps.
Hell yeah. There you go. You definitely, I know that this is going to be a really awesome episode for me, because I don't really have to do a lot of talking, because I'm excited about all the stories that you have. I'm hoping that you have a ton of stories for me to hear, because we haven't talked really since, we talked last week, but we really haven't talked since you left for your trip. The last time we did talk was right before you left. So I'm super excited to hear all about this. And I definitely probably have some stories too for you about travel. So, but yeah, dude, how was it? How was Vegas? I've never been.
I gotta tell you, so much has happened since we last recorded.
Fuck. Should I get out of the way too? Man, I've watched so much SVU. It's crazy.
We'll just hit all the bullet points right now, get them out of the way for you folks. Here we go.
Oh, man.
So, from the most previous Friday up until Tuesday, I literally just got home yesterday. I went to Las Vegas on a joint bachelor/bachelorette party weekend,
cool.
I guess. And it was the time of my life, man. Dude, so much fun.
So, okay, but before you get too into it, have you been to Vegas before?
I'm so glad that you asked. I went to Vegas twice before, actually.
Okay.
One time when I was 7 years old, and again when I was 18 years old.
Oh, the best times.
Dude, you're actually going to love this. When I was 18, me and our buddy Loki Andra were driving to L.A. For E3. I went to E3 twice in my life.
Oh, shit.
Maybe we should talk about that sometime. But
hell yeah.
On the way, the first time we went, we drove there and back. Long ass drive. Would not recommend. About 24-hour drive from Dallas to LA.
Yep.
And we stopped in Vegas on the way just to say we did. And the only thing we actually did was stop at the Pawn Stars store.
Okay.
Yeah, you remember the show with Chum Lee?
I remember that. Listen, that's the best I can do. It's the best I can do.
That's the best I can do. Yeah. And dude, we stopped there and just went to that pawn shop and walked around. Didn't even buy anything.
Was the guy there?
Nope, not at all.
Ah, of course.
It was silly. It was goofy, but So this was the first time in my life I've been an adult with money and with freedom to do Vegas right.
Hell yeah.
And going into it, my on the mental health aspect, I mean, my own kind of like social anxieties and things. I wasn't exactly sure how the weekend would go. I was a little hesitant, but we're gonna go. We're gonna have a good time, right? And it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So I was gonna give you the day by day, play by play.
Yeah. How many days in total were you there? So
We arrived Friday, and we
Okay.
left Tuesday. So that's what, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 5 days total.
5 days.
Well,
Perfect.
the fifth day we literally woke up at 5 a.m. and left, so that doesn't count. 4 days.
Yeah.
4 days.
4 days.
All right. So it's a joint bachelorette party. It's my wife has these two friends that she went to college with.
Okay.
And actually, kind of an amusing part of this is she worked with the girl in a place. I don't remember exactly what it was, but she worked together with the woman. And then they had a free spot open, and she recommended to the boss, you should hire this other guy. He'll be great for this position. He comes and starts working. The girl and the guy meet, and now they're getting married.
Oh,
Kinda cool.
awesome.
Kind
That
of
is
cool.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So we fly out on Friday. We get there at, I don't even know. Everything's a blur. 4 or 5 p.m. We get to Vegas. Soon as we hit the airport, walk out, call the Uber, get in the Uber. One of my first impressions of Vegas, we get in, the dude's like, hey, how are you guys doing? Blah, blah. What are you here for? Blah, blah, whatever. And he's like, oh, y'all are here to party this weekend? Well, between here and the hotel I'm taking you to, I know the cheapest liquor store and the best dispensary. You let me know if you want me to stop.
Wow. Hell yeah. I didn't realize it was legal in Vegas.
Totally legal in Vegas,
Interesting.
dude.
Interesting. Okay. That takes it up a whole other notch.
It
Fuck yeah.
does. So we didn't stop because we had a group of I think it was 17, might have been 15 total people. It was yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Because
Damn.
it's all the bachelors, all the bachelorettes.
True. Yeah.
Dude. We get there. We have a little bit of time to kill. I go and pop a 20 in a slot machine just to see what happens. Press the wrong button. Lost it in 1 second flat. So literally right then and there, I'm like, didn't like that. Don't like losing money. I'm a real frugal asshole. I don't think I want to gamble anymore tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
We chill, we hang out for a little while. We go and have a nice dinner with everybody in the crew. Real nice, fancy Asian dinner. Dude, it was so
Hell yeah.
good.
Hell
Chicken
yeah.
fried rice, all the dumplings, like 10 different kind of dumplings. They just kept bringing more dumplings, and they're different each time. Then we jump on a party bus, including with the stripper pole.
Okay. All right.
The music was bumping. Some of these people that I'm with are wild. Love them to death. And they're swinging on the pole. Dude, we got vodka. We got orange
they
juice.
all
We got all
like
the beers.
Are they all like similar age to us?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They're all like
Okay,
late
okay.
20s. Yeah.
Okay. Right on. Right on.
And, dude, such
I didn't know
a
if it
good
was a
time.
bunch of like younger people, like 21, 20, because we're like in our 30s. We're like sunsetting, it feels like. You know what I mean? Like, does that sound fucked up
No,
to say?
we're not
We're like-
sunsetting.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, by the time we hit 40, we're going to be like, partying is like until midnight sharp. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, let me continue this story before you call me old again. So the party bus drives around Vegas for like 40 minutes.
Okay.
We're just dancing, drinking, having a good old time.
Are you not stopping to do anything? It's just like you're in this bus.
Hold on. Calm
Okay.
down.
I don't know how party buses work. This is all a new. I'm living vicariously through you.
Well, keep living. Here we go. So the party bus does like 40 minutes of circles around Las Vegas, stops at the Welcome to Vegas sign so we get a big group photo,
Hell yeah.
and then it drops us off about 10 minutes from where we started on a little party street in Vegas called Fremont Street.
Okay. Okay.
And we just lived it up there until 2 a.m.
God damn.
Yeah, the bus was scheduled to pick us back up at 2 a.m.
Wow.
So during that time, we are drinking, eating, gambling, smoking, having a
Hell
good
yeah.
old time. I rode a zip line.
Holy shit.
This zip line is on Fremont Street in Vegas. I'm going to estimate it's like 3 or 4 stories high. And it goes down from one end of the street to the other. It's got to be like 6 or 7 blocks. I could be
Wow.
off, but it's
Holy
long.
fuck.
It was fun, dude. It was so fun. It was.
What the fuck?
I was
That's-
just kind of like, I mean, I'm in Vegas. I got to do something cool. Let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're in Vegas, you have to do Vegas shit, right?
And I would definitely have some liquid courage in me at this point.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I will tell you the weird thing about the zip line is they have you lay down on this like mat, like on your stomach and chest. You're in this harness thing with shit coming off your back, and it raises you up, and then they strap you into it, and then the door just kind of opens in like a very like Star Wars. It's like and goes down, and then the zip line just starts going.
Okay, wait. So okay, are you like Supermaning your way through Vegas?
Yep.
What the fuck? Okay, that's
Yep.
So okay, I've only ever been on one. I feel like I've only ever been on one zip line, and it was in the Mall of America. Weirdly enough, in like Minnesota.
Yeah.
And it's an indoor zip line, and it was just like your normal, like you sit in the harness and you just go through. I've never been on like a let me Superman through Vegas. That's fucking awesome.
I was Supermaning, and I had a GoPro in my hand. I
Shit.
need to get the video. The guy who paid for my like package to have the video hasn't sent it to me yet. It's coming.
Man. We'll make that a separate video for the Time Well Met channel.
I'm sure I look stupid and drunk, but hell yeah.
It's gonna be awesome.
The zip line was really cool. Really cool. We go zip line one in the street to the other, partied up a little more, hit a casino. I was done gambling, but my wife was still enjoying the gambling. Then the party bus finally shows up at 2 a.m. and takes us back to the resort, which takes all of 5 minutes. And it was that moment when we realized, when it brought us over here earlier, it didn't just bring us straight here, because this was literally a 5-minute drive.
You were thinking it was like, God damn, it was across town. Jesus. I guess if you don't know anything about the city,
Exactly,
too, you're like,
dude.
where the fuck are we? And yeah, so
It's not like I was paying attention, dude. I'm in this bus with 15, 17 other people. Everybody's having a good old time.
Exactly.
So some of the other folks in the group are like, hey, after party in room whatever. Like, no, not for me, sir. It's 2 a.m.
That's the cutoff right there. 2 a.m. Oh,
So
man.
I crashed. That was Friday.
Hell yeah.
Saturday, we wake up. Oh, my wife woke up before me. I was still a little hungover. She went and had breakfast at a place called Egg Slut. And she had the slut. And
Okay.
she said the slut was the best eggs she'd ever had. I'm assuming it was an omelet. I don't actually know.
Oh,
But
shit. Oh,
regardless,
man.
we had a little bit of time to kill early in the day. We just hung out downstairs in the casino, gambling a little bit, having some beers at noon because it's fucking Vegas.
Yeah, fuck yeah, of course.
Saturday is where it gets pretty fun.
Yeah.
We split up at this point. Saturday is going to be like bachelorette, bachelor, separate party evenings.
Yeah, absolutely.
We go to the New York Hotel in Vegas. Have you ever heard of
Okay.
it or seen it? Been there? No.
No.
Dude, when you're inside this building, it is like you're standing on it's made to look like you're standing on the streets of New York. There's like
Interesting.
cobblestone streets. There's a little pizzeria every 10 feet, restaurants, bars. There's like fake apartments up above you and railings and fire escapes. It's very,
Holy
very New
shit.
York in this
Hell
building.
Hell yeah.
It's really cool. We walk through there. They have this huge arcade. Played a little Guitar Hero because, I mean, you gotta.
Yeah.
And then we hit the, I don't remember the actual name, but it's the roller coaster that's in the New York hotel.
Okay.
So you're in the hotel, you walk up these stairs, you wait in a line, you jump on a roller coaster, they strap you in, whatever. It starts and it takes you out of the building. Then it goes up the side of the building. Then it drops you down. You're going fast. It's real fun. You're looking over the Vegas Strip as you're on this roller coaster.
Wow.
It drops and dips and weaves, whatever, and then it loops back up onto the roof of the hotel where there's a loop-de-loop and a corkscrew and a spiral and all the shit.
As you do in
Dude.
Vegas.
I'm not saying it was the best roller coaster I've ever rode, but it was really fucking cool. And, yeah, we did that. A lot of fun. From there, we had a really fucking expensive fancy dinner. I had a filet mignon. We had oysters, fucking Caesar salads, bone marrow. You ever eaten bone marrow?
Yeah, no, I haven't eaten bone marrow, but I know of bone marrow.
It was okay. I don't exactly know what I ate, but it was okay.
Okay.
Like, dude, just such a fancy meal. I ended up spending about $150 on my one meal,
Damn.
including one single alcoholic drink.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So then we're done with the meal. We're all stuffed as fuck. and we're like, we got to make it over to the fantasy show, which is essentially like a titty show. It's
Okay.
hot girls in bikinis and lingerie, whatever. And there's like a girl singing, and then the other girls are dancing, swinging on the poles, bouncing around, whatever. And then,
Yeah.
you know, this song, every single song hits like a big crescendo stopping point, and they just pop their tops off. Pretty fun. Pretty cool.
As you do in Vegas.
Exactly.
Of course.
Exactly. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. This is where things actually went south for me.
Oh no.
About halfway through
The
this
boobs
show.
made you sick.
Yeah, the boobs made me sick. That's what it was. Actually, you might be right. I might be gay. So about halfway through this show, we're sitting in the audience, and I just start burning up, dude. I'm like, dude, I'm sweating. I don't feel good.
Oh shit.
So I'm like, hey guys, I'm gonna step out, and I just go get some water. I'm sitting down, and I get this feeling like I get really, really hot. Like, dude, something is wrong. I need to be in a bathroom right now.
Yeah.
I lost that meal. I lost
No.
every single penny of that $150 meal.
Fuck.
It would not stop, dude. I'm sorry if I'm being graphic, any listeners, but
You know, hey, listen.
it wouldn't stop. I lost it
This
all.
is the Vegas episode. There's bound to be some graphic content. If you didn't know beforehand.
You've been warned now that I've already talked about it. Dude, I had no like sick feelings. I had no nauseous. I was pretty fine. I was a little congested because I was actually getting over a little bit of sickness from before we went there.
Yeah.
But man, it just came out of nowhere. I didn't even have an excessive amount to drink. I don't know what caused this, but I was fucking miserable and just
Yeah.
kept slow and steady, kept losing that dinner.
Yeah.
So at this point, I call my wife and I'm like, I need to go back to the hotel. I need a taxi or an Uber like now. End up losing a little more dinner, finally getting in a taxi, making it back to the hotel, and just passing the fuck out.
Yeah.
I wake up and I'm feeling like it's like hot and cold. You know, it's like if I take the blanket off, I'm freezing. If I put the blanket on, I'm burning.
Yeah.
Kind of a miserable morning.
Always the fucking worst. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of a miserable morning, but I'm just like hydrating and trying to like take it easy. Like I know we got more shit to do tonight and I'm not missing it.
Yeah. Obviously.
But I spend most of that day in bed, sadly. The highlight of that is that I was able to catch the Buffalo Bills game, and they
Okay.
won. They're going to the championship game next week. Go Bills!
Hell yeah. Go Bills.
And
Sports ball.
shortly after that, they call me and they're like, "Hey, we're going to this dinner." Or no, my wife came into the room and she's like, "Hey, we're about to go to this dinner. Do you want to go?" And I'm like, "I don't think I can eat just yet. I'm gonna chill a little bit longer."
Yeah.
They go to the dinner, maybe an hour later. It's probably like 5, 6 o'clock at this point, probably 6 o'clock. She calls me. She goes, "Okay, we're about to go to the ice bar. Do you want to do that?" And I'm like, "What is a ice bar?" You ever been to like the Gaylord ice exhibit thing around here? Okay, so it's essentially
I mean,
a
I've been to
bar.
the Gaylord, but I've never been to like when
They
they do
do
like
this-
Christmas time.
Yeah, they do
right?
this ice exhibit where
Yeah.
the QuakeCon area where the BYOC is, they
Okay.
turn that into an ice exhibit and they crank it all down to like -5 degrees.
Fuck yeah.
And when you go in, they give you these huge coats.
Shit.
So apparently this bar is very similar to that. It's all -5 degrees. They got ice sculptures. The bar is ice. The chairs are ice. The cups are ice. Everything's ice. And I tell my
Okay.
wife, I'm dealing with this like hot and cold business. I'm going to skip that one for sure.
Yeah.
Fuck that,
yeah.
dude. I heard it was really cool. I heard it was really, really cool. Not upset that I missed that. Fuck that.
Yeah. No.
But when they're done with that, they tell me we're going to go to the High Roller Ferris wheel in Vegas. And I'm like, cool. What time will you be there? I will not miss that. They're going to meet me at 10. I have some issues with an Uber who's a dumbass and for some reason does like 10 loop-de-loops around the fucking pickup area before I just canceled it and ordered another one. But I made it. We made it. I make it there, meet up with them. We're good. We're chilling. And we go on the High Roller Ferris wheel, which, if you don't know, is a massive Ferris wheel right off the strip in Vegas that takes you like way up above any of the buildings. And you're up there. You can just look around and see the whole city, man. And you're looking right down at the Sphere in Vegas.
Oh,
And the
shit,
Sphere was
yeah.
doing all kinds of crazy cool shit while we were up there. At one point on the ride, it looks like a Jupiter, like a realistic Jupiter.
Fuck
Then it
yeah,
turns into
okay.
like an emoji face. It turns into other things like a motherboard looking circuitry design, just like some trippy, color shifty business.
Damn.
So cool. Such a good view. I could probably send you a picture too if you want to pop it up here.
Hell yeah, brother.
And after that,
Right here.
bam, bam. We go back to the hotel. My wife gambles a little bit more, drink a little bit more, hang out, have more fun, pass out. Now, Monday, it's pretty much like most of the people are leaving, but not quite everybody's leaving.
Yeah.
So with I think it was like 4 or 5 other people were still in town. They didn't have flights on Monday. We've just ventured off to another casino, had a little fun, had some more drinks, had some more, just ate, whatever, had a good time.
Yeah.
And then my wife and I, for the final night in Vegas, instead of staying at the same hotel that we had been at for the party, we got a slightly cheaper hotel up the road at the Mandalay.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to tell you here, the reason I picked the Mandalay was that I had heard of it. Because we were like, we're not going to stay at this resort for our extra night in town because it's pricey. So we need to find somewhere else. We're looking at what's available in our price range. And I was like, Mandalay, I've heard of that one. Let's go there. That hotel kind of sucks, folks. Don't go there. I walked in that room and I was like, holy shit, it is 1975 in here, dude.
Definitely has a certain aesthetic to it.
It did its job. I went downstairs and I hit the gift shop. I got a little souvenir for my son, for my dad.
Oh,
got some burgers just so we could eat. We passed the fuck out. And we wake up and fly home we got to the airport at 6 a.m., flew home at 8.
Fuck.
Got home
Morning
at
flights.
12:30, 1 p.m.
Yeah.
And that was Vegas, man.
Damn. What a fucking ride. Holy shit. So, okay, I definitely have questions. So, first of all, so you're talking about, I think you and I are kind of a similar person in the terms of like, if I go to so we go to WinStar. WinStar is our closest casino. It's about an hour away. And so when I go to WinStar, man, I'm fucking, I get out like $100 and that's my gambling money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. If I lose all that, it is what it is. And I've been to hang out with TJ and them up in Kansas, and they like going to the casino. And it's same thing. I'll have a set amount of money. This is what I'm gambling with. If I lose that, and I go in completely fine with if I lose this, it is what it is. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna bitch.
You plan to lose that money essentially,
Exactly.
And if you win, sick.
Yeah, fuck yeah, that's awesome. So is your wife similar? Or is she more like, let's go, let's get crazy, let's get lucky?
She's pretty similar, mostly similar.
Okay.
And she's like our finance. She's the finance guy in this relationship, truly. So before we even went to Vegas, it was like, this is the gambling budget. We won't go over that. Now, what I'm gonna say, and I'm not gonna embarrass her in case she ends up listening to this, as she does. By the second day, I had lost a total of like $80, and I was like, you know what? It hurts too much. I don't want to gamble anymore. She ended up spending the gambling budget. But no more.
Hey, listen, there's been plenty of times. One thing that, man, I'll tell you what, and I don't know, I feel like it'd be even worse in Vegas. One of the things that I fucking hate about gambling is that you go to casinos, and at least this is how it is in WinStar. I don't know if it's like this in Vegas. You go to WinStar or something like that, and you see people at certain slot machines, and that's you can see the amount of money they have, and that's their livelihood. That's what they're there to if they win, they eat, and if they don't win, they don't eat. And that scares the fuck out of me, right? I don't ever want to it's funny too, because I just made a joke with my girlfriend recently. I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna go up to WinStar, see if I can win some money. Not in a position to do that right now. I'm very frugal right now, right? I'm not about to do that at all. But it's just funny to joke about, but at the same time, when you're there and present, it's like, oh man,
it does shit. Call, dude. All the lights, the sparkles, the sound, dude. Everything it does call to you. But I'm really glad that you mentioned WinStar, because I noticed something. I've been to WinStar multiple times in my life.
Okay.
When you've been to WinStar, I feel like every time I've been to WinStar, I'm walking around. We're always there for a couple hours or whatever, and I hear people exclaiming, shouting, "Oh, jackpot! Woo!" Stuff like that. You hear that too when you're at WinStar, right?
Yeah.
Not one fucking time this whole weekend did I hear that in Vegas.
Really?
I think Vegas is full of shit, dude.
Did you see anybody win any like big money, or did anyone in the party of like 17 win any like big money, or at least come away positive? You know.
I know for a fact one guy came away positive because he was like, from the start, he's like, I'm not a big gambler. I don't really care. I might hit some slots. He hit $700 on a slot machine.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. That's
big happy for him. A lot of the other folks. So this is my wife's college friends. They were all in college around the same time. They all graduated around the same time, which was like 6 years ago. Yeah. So at this point in their lives, they've all got their degree, started a job, and had a few years to progress.
Yeah,
they've all got decent money.
Yeah.
At least one of her friends, I had to be like, bro, are you sure you need to hit the ATM again?
Yeah.
And also, another thing about Vegas, $12 fee to withdraw from the ATM.
Jesus.
Like, dude, this is like a strip club.
Oh my God. I always bitch about like the $2.50 fees or something
dude.
like that.
Yeah, dude.
I'm like, $2.50 is insane. What the fuck? $12? Okay. Because one of the things, funnily enough, I know one of the things that I've heard about Vegas, because again, I've never been to Vegas proper. The closest I've been is the Hoover Dam, right? Never once been, I've never once been into Vegas, right? Funnily enough, side story, when I went to the Hoover Dam, it was when they were shooting the first Transformers movie. I don't remember if I told you this story. I think I talked about it.
You did tell me the story, and I'm so glad to hear it again.
It's so funny. I was there on working with, or my dad was working with the railroad. He used to bring me along, and we had a day off. And one of the things that we did was we were like, we're gonna go to the Hoover Dam because it's close. I don't remember where we were that we were so close to the Hoover Dam. And when we were there, they had like a whole section like kind of blocked off with like tents and all this other crazy shit. And they were shooting the first Transformers movie. There's a scene with like Megatron going like through the Hoover Dam. That's what they were doing. They were shooting that. And to me at the time, I was like, okay, I don't care. Like, I don't really like Transformers. Looking back, I was like, that's kind of crazy to be there at that time. But that's the closest I've been to Vegas.
Wait, did you not see Shia?
No, I was fucking, it's bullshit. He should have came out and greeted me, honestly. No, I didn't see anybody. I didn't see anybody cool. We were only there for like an hour or two, but it was like, holy shit, we're here, and these are the, anyways.
That's cool.
It was cool, yeah. It's one of those things that like you look back, it's like, oh, that's cool. Like, oh, I could have been in a seat. Probably not could have been in a scene, but it was still cool to be there.
Put me in the scene with Megatron.
One of the things that I've heard about Vegas, one of the notorious things I've heard about Vegas is that they fucking load drinks. Like if you get a mixed drink, it's going to be strong because they're trying to get you drunk enough. And I could, this could be completely wrong. But one of the things that I've heard is that they try and get you pretty drunk so that way you go and spend more money. Like that's kind of the idea. Like a mixed drink is going to cost you $50, but that's going to be the strongest fucking mixed drink you've ever had, right?
I cannot confirm.
Okay.
I can't deny either because I didn't really buy a mixed drink from a bar.
Oh, okay.
Once again, I'm a cheap ass. I paid $11 for a beer like 2 or 3 times and was kind of pissed about it. So
yeah.
At the restaurant I went to, I paid $22 for an old fashioned.
Jesus.
And it was a great old fashioned, but I mean, I fucking lost it later, so it was worthless. For the most part, our drinking was kind of self-supplied. Like when people got there, they would right around the corner from the CVS or right around the corner from the hotel is a CVS. In Vegas, you can buy liquor at the CVS.
No shit.
At any hour of the goddamn day.
Fuck yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't want to say Texas sucks, but Texas sucks. Anyways, so they bought bottles and beer and had it in the rooms, and we're passing. It's a big group sharing deal.
What's the I was gonna say, what's the policy on like bringing that sort of alcohol? Can you only do it in the room, or you can't bring it in? I didn't think you could.
Nobody gives a fuck in Vegas, Silas.
Oh,
the only time we had to finish your drink was when we were gonna get into an Uber.
Oh wow.
We would walk down the street, down the strip, walk from hotel to hotel, casino to casino, bar to bar, drinks in hand. Nobody gives a fuck in Vegas.
Wow, awesome. You have the bottle with you and everything, or no?
Well, we didn't have the bottles with us, but it was like we were all carrying beers and drinks and everything else.
Right on. Okay.
It's so crazy, man. And then just like, oh, we're gonna go from the Aria where we stayed. We're gonna walk over to the Bellagio. Who's got the joints? We're just walking and smoking, dude.
In the streets.
Yep.
Okay, wow.
And we were not the only ones.
Yeah. That's kind of, I've had that experience too. So I went to Washington State, and being there and like going up and walking into a dispensary for the first time is such a surreal thing, especially especially when you're an adult and you've like never been, and you're like, if you've grown up like us, like I'm sure we have, where it's like, man, buying weed is such a, a forbidden thing, and it's like such a, oh, like we have to be, so who are you buying from, and like this, anyways, there's all this like process to it, right? And then you can like walk up to a store, you show them your ID, and you walk in, and it's like a fucking playground of like, here's all of these magical items that you can just walk out of this, and you can walk out and just light up on the street, and it's like you just walk away from there. That was insane to me.
Not only that, dude, they have deals. They sell you on this shit like no other. They're like, buy one, get two free. Buy two, get one for a penny.
Oh man. It's that's a whole other world. I feel like it's one of those things where you think about and I think for me at least, it's like you think about like being a kid, and you're like, man, I'll never experience shit like that again. I'll never experience like childhood again. But there are some aspects of adulthood where it's like, I'll never experience this as a child. This is what we're here to be an adult for. You know what I mean? Oh,
this is crazy when you're in a dispensary with your pick of everything.
Yeah. Oh man. And because I've only ever really been to one dispensary, and it was the shit. It was the coolest it was one of the coolest experiences I've ever been to.
And you feel like as a Texan, you just feel like a criminal. You're walking in, you're like, oh God, I'm about to go to prison.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It was one of those things where like I walked out and I was like, am I allowed to have this shit? Like, I feel like I need to hide this somewhere or something. Oh man, yeah. Walking, so when I did it, I was in Spokane, and I remember walking up into like a mountain and like smoking at the top, not at the top of the mountain, but like I was like halfway up. And then walking and like hiking back down, and I was like, "This is crazy! This is the coolest shit ever!"
That sounds so nice,
so crazy. For those who can do it legally in legal states,
do responsibly. If it's legal and you're old enough, responsibly.
Yes, be responsible.
Cheers,
just like you drink. Oh man, that's okay. So that's really cool. So I know that you said that you were sick for most of this. It's funny too that you say
just
that.
Like a day of 12, 16 hours of it.
Do you think it was like food poisoning or anything like that? Or do you have an idea?
I don't, because I ate with every other guy that was there. We all had the same meal, and it was like we each had our own kind of entree, but a lot of it was like family style kind of shared stuff. Okay. I was like, oh, dude, give me some of that broccoli. Oh, dude, give me some of that mushrooms. Right. Like we were sharing. Dude, I really don't know, man. The only thing I think maybe affected it was that because I was getting over being sick, I was taking some like Dayquil kind of pills.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if...
that's so fucking funny that you mentioned that. So this has to be like a year or two ago, maybe 2 years ago. I was feeling kind of shitty. I again, working back when I was working with the railroad really regularly. This was in like the winter months, like, so kind of like February, like January, February, March, kind of that area. I was like, man, my throat is like kind of fucked up. And I thought so seriously. I was like, you know what I need to do? I just need to call and be like, you know what? I can't go to this trip because it's going to be a week-long trip. And for those of you who don't know, I worked with the railroad, and the way that those trips worked, or the way that job worked, is I would go out of town for like basically like a week at a time, sometimes up to a month at a time. And so for this one, it was going to be like a full week. So, basically Monday to Monday, essentially. And I had to fly out to Montana, I believe it was. I think I was going to like kind of the Billings area. Cold. It's cold. It's going to be, no, actually, this is going to be Wyoming. It's going to be cold as fuck.
Ooh.
And so I fly out, I get to the airport. I'm already like, I feel kind of shitty, but I'm like, I'm already here. So I might as well get on the plane. As soon as I get on the plane, I kind of feel what you felt, where it's like, I just get really hot. I'm immediately like, and that, I think one of the things that, for me at least, one of the things that sucks the most is being sick and not being close to home. right? When you can't go home and you can't be in your own bed and be like in your own space, that to me fucking sucks. Because
Yeah.
then I was sick. I had to work a dinner that night, and I had to tell my boss. I was like, and luckily, like they fucking know me. I've known these people forever. I had to tell them, I was like, I can't do this. I can't. I'm way too sick. And so that whole night, I couldn't do anything. The next day, I couldn't do anything because I was way too sick. And then the following day, I finally was like good enough to work. But even still, I was like, I had a really bad cough.
You gotta power through it.
And the thing the commonplace thing that I did is I took fucking Dayquil, right? I don't know if that like amped it up. I know that like one thing that my dad kept telling me, because he's a paramedic, is he was like, if you take that without food, it can like mess with your heart rate and shit like that, and it can like, I don't know, just amp shit up sometimes. But
Really?
for me, it really fucked me up.
Did you
and that
get-
whole week was
Were you like nauseous sick?
No, I was more like feverish. I had really bad fever the whole night. So like the first night that I got there, I couldn't sleep. My heart rate was like really high. Yeah, it was really scary. I didn't go to the doctor, but because I was just like, I don't know if I can afford a fucking bill, you know what I mean? Because I have health insurance. But my heart rate was, really ramped up. And then I was also just super feverish. The next day, I was still kind of feverish and my heart rate was fine, but it was just like, I was just so feverish. And it was just hard. It was just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I didn't really know what else to do. So I was just like in bed for most of the day,
Yep.
did the, the work that I needed to do. But for the most part, I really couldn't get anything done. And then as the week went on, I kind of recovered. I got my appetite back because I didn't have an appetite at the beginning of the week. I got my appetite back, and then like slowly kind of like, the other thing too is like I had a really bad cough. So I don't know if it was COVID. I don't know what it was. I just know that I got really sick. It sucked. Not a fan. And I'm a bitch when I get sick. I'm such a bitch. I need to be taken care of. When I got COVID, a couple years ago, I had to have my girlfriend take care of me. I'm such a bitch, dude.
So, for me, it was, I got super hot during the show, lost my dinner repeatedly, and was just like, I need to go back to the hotel. Yeah. I got back to the hotel, dude. I hit that bed and passed out. Slept for I don't know how long. Woke up, was like, nope, still don't feel good. Sleeping more. Slept a little longer. Woke up, was like, I think I feel okay. I should probably eat if I can.
Yeah.
And this is really funny. On, I think it might have been the first or second day we were there, one of our friends, he comes to us and he's like, all right, I got a craving for chicken tendies. I'm about to go down to the concierge and I'm going to ask her where I can find the finest chicken tendies. And then him and his boyfriend leave. And we get a text like an hour and a half later of this like massive bucket of chicken tenders and curly fries. And he's like, found the chicken tendies. So Saturday, it was Saturday I got sick. Sunday, I'm sleeping it off, chilling, watching the Bills game. And I'm finally like, okay, I'm feeling a little better. I know I need to eat. I need something in me. And I don't know why, but them chicken tendies sound good. So I was able to eat 2 of these chicken tendies, and dude, they were amazing. It was like a Korean fried chicken, is what it was, dude.
Oh, hell
dude,
yeah.
it was so
Korean
good.
fried chicken is the shit. Hell yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's another thing too that I was gonna say is that, of the stories that I hear of Vegas, I hear of like, the crazy nights and a lot of drinking, and again a lot of the food. The food, and I've heard that the food in the casinos especially is really good. Like in certain resorts and in certain casinos, the food is like, that's what you go there for. The buffets or whatever you're going for, like that's where the shit is, right? So that's good to have that, because I feel like, it's funny too, because our buddy Taylor, shout out to Taylor, the fat motherfucker, even though he's not fat, he would be the one. I know that he's talked about like, I want to do a Vegas trip just to go eat. He doesn't want to do any gambling. He just wants to spend every single day eating, and that's exactly he's.
It's funny you mentioned that. If he mentioned that, My wife had so much fun this past weekend. She started
Yeah,
saying, she turns 30 next year. Maybe. We'll see what
maybe,
happens.
maybe see where we're at.
Yeah.
I'd be down. I'm definitely at that point where, because like for me, and I don't know if I don't know if we've had this discussion like one on one with just like you and me. I don't particularly care for strip clubs. I don't particularly care for like nude bars or anything like that. To me, it's just like I think it's like and that's even like before I got into a relationship. I've never been a fan of like strip clubs. I've had friends that works at strip clubs. Doesn't bother me. Like I don't care. Doesn't bother me. But it's one of those things where it's like, or even like a Hooters or like a Twin Peaks, those sorts of
Really?
things. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's something about, I don't know if it's like, it makes me particularly uncomfortable or if it's just one of those things that it just doesn't appeal to me. But I've never really enjoyed those types of places or never really thought that I would. And maybe it's because I haven't given it a chance or, whatever it may be. But those sorts of things I don't think would really appeal to me. But the idea of like taking some money into a Vegas casino and gambling, like take like obviously you'd probably take a little bit more than $100, right? Taking, like having the chance to go and like eat at all these fantastic places. I would love to go like the Heart Attack Grill. I feel like the Heart Attack Grill would be a really cool
That one
place.
sounds too nuts for me.
Ah, man, I've seen it so many times that I feel like I would love to go there just to try
Taylor
it.
would fucking love it.
Oh, Taylor would fucking
Dude,
kill
Taylor
it
would put him
there.
out of business.
Oh yeah, it's funny because he would be one of those people that would go and eat there, and they'd be like, "How are you not 400 pounds?" You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, but like going to all these places and just experiencing it, because I feel like Vegas is the type of place that like it's definitely an adult playground, right? It's definitely one of those places that when you grow up, that's an experience that you get to have. Going to Vegas, really having that like you're there and you're present and you're getting to experience all these like cool fun events. You're getting to get a little loose and get a little bit extra and do a little bit more than you normally would outside of like maybe a QuakeCon or maybe a whatever sort of vacation you might do. That's kind of like I feel like even outside of like traveling out of the United States, that would definitely be like on the bucket list. I would love like even if it's just a weekend, do a weekend in Vegas. At least experience it. That's on the list. So that's really fucking cool that you got to that. It's really funny too that you got to do like you were there at like 7, there at 18, 2 times when it's like it's cool to like be there, but you don't really get to be there, right?
I don't even remember when I was 7, to be honest with you. I was traveling with my grandma. When I was younger, my grandmother who raised me, she loved to travel. So like pretty much every summer, we'd fucking go somewhere. We'd be driving somewhere in her old, ugly green van. And I remember being in Vegas, and I remember watching her gamble a little bit. I remember the lights and the sounds and like overstimulation of it. But I don't remember shit. I don't remember a damn thing, to be honest with you. And then I remember when I was 18, we just stopped at fucking Pawn Stars,
Pawn Stars, baby. Oh man, it's funny too because I've made that. Well, we didn't go to LA, but I've made that drive to Southern California, and holy fuck, it sucks. It sucks so bad. It sucks so bad. I don't know why anybody would make that drive.
We did it. So for E3 back then, E3 is not even a thing anymore. RIP. But back then, it was at the point where they had closed E3 to the public. And you pretty much had to be like a game industry person to get in. So our buddy, Loki Andra, he was absolutely, completely associated with a real company that we used that allowed us to get tickets. And we got to go for 2 years in a row. And on the first year, we were like, well, let's just drive. You and me, we'll split off, break it up, whatever, no big deal. The second time, by next year, we were like, we flying.
Yeah. Yeah. If you've ever been to, so like going from Texas to California, I've made the drive from Texas to Florida, and that was like 18 hours. That was when I was 18, and we split that up. Me and my best friend and his brother-in-law. That was a nightmare enough as it is. I was like, I'm never.
Did you split it up like the car never stopped?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So my brother-in-law drove the first half. I drove the second half. Coming back.
That's how Chris and I did it.
It was like I'll never do that shit again. It was a nightmare. I would never do that shit. It was 18 hours. It was funny too because the first when we went up there, we stopped in like Tennessee, slept in a hotel, and then my brother-in-law drove the rest of the way. Me and my best friend passed the fuck out. You know what I mean? Waffle House at 4 a.m. because we couldn't sleep. That type
Hell
of shit.
yeah. It's a Waffle
but
Home.
then yeah, hell yeah. And then on the way back, we went to, or we didn't stop at all. So like literally, we went from Orlando, Florida, because we went to Disney World. We went from Orlando, Florida, back to Texas, and it was nonstop. Other than to get gas or like get food,
Take a piss.
nonstop
Yeah.
all the way back.
Yep.
Nightmare.
Dude,
Never
it's
do that shit
brutal.
again. Brutal.
Dude,
and I've
this-
driven like, oh, man. Go ahead.
This is only like tangentially related to what we're talking about, but this is the funniest
Uh-huh.
fucking story, and I love to tell it.
Okay.
When Loki and I drove from here to LA, the car
Uh-huh.
didn't stop. It was like he would do a couple hours, we'd switch. Okay, you sleep, I drive. All right, now I'm asleep, you drive.
Damn.
Car didn't
Okay.
stop, dude. We made it in 24 hours flat.
Fuck yeah.
And somewhere in Death Valley, I'm like, hey, dude, I think it's my turn to take over. Like, let me know, man. He's like, oh, I'm good. I'm like, okay, well, it's my turn to drive. Let me know when you're ready. He's like, I'm good. I know my limits, is what he told me. I know my limits. Okay. I'm sitting there reading or playing a game or some shit, whatever. And finally, he just goes, okay, your turn. And just immediately like, onto the side of the road so quick. I'm like, okay, cool, man, cool. We switch around the car. I fucking swear to God, dude, I put that shit in drive and he's snoring. Like,
Hey, that's
dude,
the limit.
he knows his limit, dude, like to the second.
Holy shit. Yeah. My dad's a fucking maniac. My dad is an absolute fucking maniac. I love to drive. I personally love to drive. When I go up to like Kansas and see TJ and Zach and them, I'll make that drive in one go. The only time I'm stopping is for gas, right?
Yeah, it's only like 8 hours.
Yeah, 8 hours. Yeah. For some, like if I were to go
You know
with
what?
my girlfriend, we need to stop. You know what I mean?
I think to Texans, 8 hours is not as unreasonable.
Right. But for some people, it's like I can't do 8 hours is a lot, right? You know. But for me, I'm
that drive
one go,
multiple
whatever.
times. Yeah.
And so going up there is fine. My dad, like, I'm talking about when we did the drive to Southern California, which was like 20 hours roughly, right? He did that shit one go, right? Because he's used to like, I think we may have stopped once. And he's used to like driving an ambulance where you have to be alert and awake at all times. You need to be good to go, right? And when he was younger, he could do that shit. He could just be up all goddamn day and night, right? He's a monster. Now, obviously now he's older. Stop. You gotta do your thing. Yeah, you stop at whatever gas station or wherever you're going. A 3-hour drive has like 4 different stops that you're gonna make. Whatever. So
Not in my car.
But man, when he was young, when I was like 10, and he was like, "We're going to here," and I was like, "Okay, dude." We didn't stop for shit. We stopped when I needed to stop, not when he needed to stop. Because he was like,
stop?
well, it was like if I needed food or if I needed to use the restroom or something. But he was like,
he didn't
I'm
tell
good
you
to
to use
go.
a Sprite bottle.
Right? No, my dad didn't give a shit. He was ready to go. Because we drove from like Texas to like Needles, California, and that's like an 18-hour plus drive.
And he was the only driver?
Fuck yeah. I was like 10.
Damn.
He was like, whatever.
Your dad is a monster.
Dude, he's cruising. He didn't give a fuck. Oh man, I remember that pretty vividly. Like driving through the California like desert and being like, "This sucks." Like, how could you do that? Because it doesn't change. It's like the same shit.
It doesn't.
And it's
dude.
like, oh my god. Being an adult now, I'd be like, oh my god, I would die. I would fucking. This sucks so bad. Yeah, that's crazy. Anyways, I'm glad that you had a fucking good time in Vegas, man.
Like I said, I was a little like anxious going into it because I've met my wife's friends multiple times. They're all nice, but I wasn't like intimately, like intimately know them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a little thing, but man, After the party buzz, dude, we're all just passing a bottle of vodka around with each other. These goofy guys and girls are dancing on the stripper pole and stuff like that in the party van.
Hell yeah.
Or the party bus. And no, that's a great group of people. Those guys, love them all. Actually, no, one more story here. When we're having the dinner, we're having the bachelor's dinner. We all get seated. It's this huge round table. It's super cool. We're all perfectly around. And I want to say there was 8, 9 guys. I don't know. But one of the guys goes, all right, since we're all here sitting around the table, who wants to start a podcast? And they're all like, ha ha hee hee. Yeah, that would happen, wouldn't it? And I'm sitting there going, so hey guys, subscribe to Time Well Mint. So if any of those dudes end up listening to this, fucking love you all, guys. That was a good weekend for the history books, man.
We both love you. I was there in spirit.
He was.
Yeah. Regardless of if I was there in person, I was there in spirit.
You know, some people have a little like an angel and a devil on their shoulder. I got 2 Silases.
A good Silas.
I got the sober Silas and the drunk Silas.
Oh man, that's fucking great. Holy shit. Well, that's fucking awesome, man. It's so crazy too, because like, again, it was one of those things too that like I feel like you and I, you know, obviously we get to be, we allow ourselves to be vulnerable and like we open up and like types of shit like when we do this podcast, right? But also we also like kind of like have some things that like I don't know how to say this. We don't really like necessarily hide it from each other, but like I didn't know you were in a fucking Vegas until you were like, I'm going to Vegas. You know what I mean? So like having that surprise is always like, ooh, you know what I mean? I look at it so much differently now that we have this, because it's like, as much as I want to be like, oh man, how was your trip to Vegas? Like in a normal setting, like if we're just playing, you know, Marvel Rivals or whatever, it's so much more interesting to me when I can do it in this sort of setting, right? With like the podcast setting where it's like, man, how the fuck was Vegas? And like we get to like, I don't know, something about that, man, is something so cool. But that's really fucking cool, man. I'm really glad you got to have that experience. I've definitely have like a lot of stories of travel, but Vegas is definitely on the bucket list. You know what I mean? I was gonna say, so beyond Vegas, what's your favorite place to travel? What do you, or is Vegas the place? You know what I mean? Of the places, I don't know how many places you've really gotten to travel to.
I've actually traveled a lot in my time.
Okay. Hell yeah.
One of my crowning achievements when I was 7 years old, which is kind of cool and kind of also a shame because I was a little bit too young to appreciate it. Mm-hmm. Me and my grandmother and my great grandmother, so it was her mom. The 3 of us drove from Dallas all the way to Seattle.
Oh shit!
Then we hopped on a ferry that took the van up to Alaska.
Oh shit!
Hung out in Alaska, I believe, for 2 weeks, and then we drove all the way home from Alaska through Canada.
Okay, wow.
Hit up Yellowstone.
Oh man.
All the way home, Mount Rushmore.
Ah, that's like the shit.
Yeah,
that's a fucking road trip right there.
Yeah, wow. That's like the memory for me, you know, because my grandma's passed away, and that's just like the memory.
Hell yeah, yeah.
But I will say, I think as an adult, sitting right here, having just come home yesterday, Vegas was pretty fucking sick, dude.
Hell yeah. There's definitely places like, I think if I hadn't had the chance to go to, because I have family in Seattle, so if I hadn't had the opportunity to go to Seattle again as an adult, because I would have been like, man, Seattle is one of like the coolest places that I've never, you know, that I wish I would have gone to as an adult, but I've gotten that chance, right? I've never been to Alaska though. Alaska would be a fucking sick place to go to, right? Like just the wilderness of it, right?
Dude, one of the coolest things we did there, we took this ferry that takes you out and you go like right up next to a glacier. And then while you're on the ferry looking at the glacier, there's dudes fishing off the side of the boat. And they just fish up these salmon and chop them up and cook them for you right there.
Wow. God. That's fucking nuts. That is absolutely nuts. That's like fresh fish. You know, that's fresh. Holy shit. Because it's funny too, because I'm not even like I don't really like fish, but I feel like at that point it's like, well, of course I have to try it. Oh, right. Dude, you're not going to turn down it's just been pulled out of the fucking water, fish.
I just
right?
watched this man catch it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say no.
It was delicious.
yeah,
I remember that. That memory sticks.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's so fucking cool, man. I don't know if we've had a chance to really like sit down and talk about all the travel that we've done. I know that you and I have both, well, now I know that you and I have both had a lot of travel in our youth. I think, you know, even before the time I was 18, I had already seen like half of America. Just, you know, because my dad had worked with the railroad and had gotten to bring me along. And so I had already seen a ton of America. And then even after that, I'd gotten to, as an adult, see all these different places. Like one of my favorite places to go still, and one of the places that I think, you know, if I get the opportunity to, I would love to live in like Minneapolis, Minnesota. I love that place. I think the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul, fantastic place to be. You know, if you've never been, highly recommend. Such a fucking cool place, both in the winter and the summer. Definitely, obviously, like if you're not accustomed to like a Minnesota winter, it can be very jarring, but it's such a fucking cool experience to be there and to be, you know, in those cities, like be, you know, and even beyond just being a tourist, like, you know, getting to be like kind of in more of the suburbs and shit like that. It's such a cool fucking area to be in. And I feel like that's kind of something that most people, you know, I know a number of people who are like, man, I've never been out of Texas. You know what I mean? They've never left the state. So we definitely are kind of like more of the fortunate ones to be able to say, oh, look, we have all this experience and all this like life experience to be like, we've traveled, we've seen these things, and we've gotten to, you know, view these other places and experience this other, you know, aspect of, you know, the country, which, you know, as big as the country is, it almost feels like aspects of the world. You know what I mean? I remember being like 9 years old and walking across the border into Mexico, like when that was like an easy thing to do.
Did you buy one of those Afghan blankets?
No. My dad was.
We had like 3 of them.
What the fuck? Me and my dad just like walked across and was like, we took a picture under, because I'm not gonna doctor our last names. Anyways, it's a common Mexican last name, and we took a picture underneath a street that had our last name under it, and we was like, oh, this is so crazy. I don't know where that picture is now, but it's just, oh man, I know it's somewhere in the because my dad used to make all these like scrapbooks and stuff like that of all of our travels up until like, you know, 2009 or something like that. Just such a fucking great time, man. So wild.
Traveling is fun, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I guess Time Well Ment's gonna do Vegas next year, huh?
Oh man, could you imagine a Vegas? You know, it's funny too, because I have a very vivid imagination. So I've definitely imagined us doing like different like location type. You know, like I think next year we really need to commit to doing like a QuakeCon podcast. Like maybe if we go like a day early or something like that, and then do a podcast then, or if we do, you know, whatever. I would think like doing on location would be a lot of fun. You know what I mean? Doing like if you and I end up traveling, because I think we're at that point in our friendship where it's not uncommon or not normal, or it is normal that we would travel together, or we would go to these places together. And then we already have this beautiful thing together, like being Time Well Meant, that we would then combine it, and it would be this crazy little thing we do. We do a little
beautiful
setup,
little love baby.
Yeah. Oh man, it'd be fun. It'd be a lot of fun. Holy shit, man. We've already covered a lot of the episode. That's kind of crazy though. Fuck. Vegas.
Dude. So that's the that and that alone is why we decided to drink for this episode.
Yeah. That's the only reason.
We just wanted to be in a Vegas state of mind.
Absolutely. Again, if you are toasting to us, make sure that you're of age. We at Time Well Meant don't condone anything underage or anything like that, even though we probably have stories that are, you know, no, we're I mean, what do you mean? We're the most
you drank underage? My God.
No, I would never. God, who does that? Oh Christ. Anyways, what else is on the agenda?
I'm gonna tell you what. You remember how we talked about how we're drinking and we're gonna have to take a piss break?
Yeah.
Real quick.
Do you want to take a piss break? All right, and break. We'll be right back.
Okay, never moved.
And we're back.
And we're back.
Like we never left. Man, I'll tell you what have you, I kind of wanted to ask this question earlier on, but we had the whole Vegas discussion. What have you been playing lately, man? Other than the Vegas slots, what have you been playing? Is it still Marvel Rivals? Anything changed?
Nothing but Marvel.
Nothing but Marvel. Man, I'll tell you what, I've gotten back into a game, and I'm going to do a little self promo here. I don't do this very often. I don't think I've ever done this actually on any episode of Time Well Met. I am going to do a little self promo. It's not going to come out anytime soon, or at least I don't think it is. I've been playing Shadows of Doubt, which is a detective game. Okay. Now,
is that the procedurally generated one?
Procedurally generated. So if you've never heard of Shadows of Doubt, it is a procedurally generated world that you solve cases in, you solve crimes in. There are murder cases, there are kidnapping cases. You can find out, if lovers are cheating on each other and shit like that. You can find out about corporate espionage. You can find out about all this different shit, right? I plan on doing sort of a, I don't know how it's funny because before we started this recording, I was gathering B-roll footage for a YouTube video that I plan on bringing out, hopefully within the month of January, by at least the end of the month of January, of a video about kind of a role played kind of free form, doing it by ear kind of thing, where because the thing about the Shadows of Doubt is that as you play the game, the story makes itself, right? So as you're experiencing the story, so am I, right? And so I plan on doing kind of a short narrative kind of video about solving cases in Shadows of Doubt. That's going to be on my YouTube channel. It'll be somewhere. I don't know where. Somewhere. Anyway, a little self-promotion, whatever, might as well just talk about that. That might be in the description below. But
what's the YouTube channel on that?
That's youtube.com/SYLASISM. SYLASISM. Silasism.
All right, we'll put a link in the description because nobody understood that.
No one understood that. Silasism. Silasism. Yeah, so that'll be something interesting. That's something that I'm working on personally. Little side project, whatever. But yeah, man, fuck. In terms of and here's the thing, in terms of playing games, it's all me. When I'm playing games, it's all me. I know that some people don't really play their own fucking games, okay? Some billionaires aren't playing their own fucking games.
They don't. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, so recently, there was a certain billionaire.
I'm going to cut you off right there. I kind of wanted to bring this up 1 or 2 episodes ago, but it wasn't 100% confirmed yet. And now it's fucking confirmed. Go on. So
there's a certain billionaire by the name of Elon Musk, who is not playing his own games. But first of all, I can kind of understand it. Path of Exiles is a long goddamn game. I couldn't get into it. It's a long game. There's a lot going on, but the video is so funny. Him being like, and there's 4 of these things, was it fucking killed me. Yep. Him not understanding.
Him trying to start the match and well, this should click here.
Yeah, dude. Oh, and to me, it's okay, when I watch streamers, I either want to watch somebody who is really good at the game and very skilled, or I want to watch someone who has no clue what they're doing. And to me, if you are genuine and you're honest and you're saying, hey, I don't know what the fuck's going on. If you're playing Dark Souls, you know what I mean? If you're playing Dark Souls for the first time, that's one of my favorite things, is to watch people do Dark Souls for the first time. And they're like, I have no clue what's going on. I have no idea how to beat these bosses. And it's hard and it's scary and I'm dying over and over again. But if you're here I am at this
top
point
100,
in the game. Yeah,
top 100 players in the world.
Here are 4 little things. I don't really know what these do. It's
I have absolute junk in my inventory that's completely worthless.
Come on, brother. Come on.
I don't actually know anything about Path of Exile. I won't sugarcoat this. I'm not a fan of Path of Exile or Diablo style games. the isometric click to move your character around just turns me the fuck off, and I don't want any of it.
Yep.
Sue me. Same reason I don't like League of Legends. Just don't like it. Don't want to deal with it. But Mr. Muskrat starts tweeting, and this was at least a year or two, probably 2+ years ago, when he starts saying, well, I'm a top player in Diablo 4. People are like, oh, that's cool. That's real cool, I guess. But that was the moment for me where my brain started going, how? How are you doing something that I know streamers stream that fucking game for 60 hours a week to get into that place?
Yeah.
But you do that and run 6 companies and do other things. I was skeptical. But then the Path of Exile stuff comes to light. He's top 10. He's top 10, Silas.
The videos are incredible. It's so amazing watching. I think it's funny too, because like you and I are both experienced, like we've dumped hours into games, right? We've dumped hours into games, right? To the point where we, like if we want to talk about Tarkov, you and I could talk about Tarkov like it's a different fucking language. You and I could talk about Marvel Rivals probably like it's a different fucking language. Rocket League, holy fucking shit, right? I guarantee you that there's a huge percentage of our fucking of the world that has no clue what the fucking air dribble is. Okay, it's insane to walk into a community that has such a large fan base and to pretend, because it's very clear that you're pretending, to pretend that you are knowledgeable about this, and then to say these 4 little things right here, or this should be starting if I do this. Like, what?
Dude, you either have the biggest balls in the world or the smallest brain in the world. It is like going to you're going to, you know what? Put me in the game, coach, on the Super Bowl. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. It's exactly like that. Where if it's like, man, it's the NBA Finals Game 7 or whatever, and it's like, hey,
and you know volunteer what? From the sidelines.
Yeah. You're like in the fucking nosebleeds. Like, I'll go. It's fine. I've watched a game before. Like, come on, brother. Like, oh my God. Who's the guy that played Superman? That's I can't think of his. I don't know why I want to call him Mark Hamill. It's not Mark. No, it's not Christopher Reeves. It's the guy who played the most. Yes, Henry Cavill. When I think of like gamers, I think of him because he tells the story of like, yeah, I missed the call for Superman because I was playing World of Warcraft. That's a real fucking gamer. That's how you know you're dedicated. Because if you're missing like extremely important like casting calls because you were in a WoW raid,
he's in a big raid.
Dedicated. You're dedicated. I'm so stoked for the 40K show because I know his dedication. Okay, you know what I mean? But to be like, I think these 4 little buttons right here will do something. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. See yourself out, sir. Oh my God, you're a disgrace.
I look at it like this: when prior to this knowledge that I have now, if Elon told us we're gonna go to Mars. Yeah. I'm going to use the jet propulsion and the gravity velocity of the XYZ. We're using Pythagorean theorem to take off from the joint dislocation. Who knows what the fuck he's talking about? I'm like, oh, I don't know any of that shit. He must know what he's talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're in our fucking realm now, bucko.
Yeah.
Don't you dare walk over here and tell me you're a gamer and you're fucking paying some dude in China to level you up while you're doing a rally with the political whatever, and then just like you said, he's well, these 4 things should do something. Like, you're in our world now and you're a fucking idiot, and I know it, and you're not gonna tell me that I'm wrong because I've played games. I've played Diablo before. I don't like it, but I've played it, and you don't get to be in the top 100 in the world without putting in a lot of fucking hours, and in those hours you gain a lot of fucking knowledge.
Absolutely.
It's just it pisses me off. It pisses me off. I'm hot. I'm getting hot.
They're getting hot. It's funny too. Yeah. I think even beyond anything political or anything beyond that, like, I think something is really sacred about like like I think about, a game that I've played a shitload of time, or I've put a shitload of time in, is Overwatch. I have 2,300 hours into that. And when I look at somebody who's a top 500 player, I can tell when somebody has gotten boosted in the top 500 and when someone is actually a top 500 player, right?
Yeah.
Like I've had matches where I'm playing against Grandmasters and I'm like, okay, all right, I know where I stand, right?
I should have applied some lube before walking in here.
Yeah, exactly. So I can, I think we've all had that moment of like, you can see true skill, right? If you're a gamer, if you've been there and if you've been in that moment,
You spent the time
you
doing
can feel it. Yeah. But if you're just like some Joe Schmo who paid his way in, that's so obvious. There's been so many times when I go up against someone and I look at their profile and it's like, you're GM? There's no fucking shot, right? There's no way you're GM. I'm absolutely shitting on you. And I'm like, low masters. How the fuck are you? How are you even in this elo? What the fuck is going on? It's very clear that you paid your way into this. And it shows, and it's pathetic, okay? I think it goes even beyond being a fucking ultra billionaire, fucking super mega mind, whatever. Like if you didn't earn your spot, it shows so apparently, right? It'd be one thing if you were even like, if he had like half of the knowledge, it'd be like, this is this. Okay, I see what I need to do here. And if he had like some semblance of what the fuck was going on, that would be completely different, right? No clue. You have no clue. You're completely oblivious. Get off the game, okay? Get off the fucking game, okay? You don't deserve it. You don't deserve to be in that position, and you know it.
And he was streaming live to 1.1 million completely real, totally not bots on Twitter, and not having a fucking clue what's going on.
So insane.
And the reason I wanted to talk about this whole thing is why?
Yeah. Other than to embarrass yourself.
You're the richest man in the world. You have more influence at this time than potentially anybody else in the world. You just, why you got to come down here? Don't come here. Don't come down here in the slums with us gamers and try to be one of us, because you're fucking
don't get into the mud.
That's right. Thank you. Yeah.
Don't get into the fucking mud. You don't belong here.
What goes on in that man's brain that makes him think not only is it I'm top 10 in the world at PoE 2 and that's going to get me cool points. Where's the logic in that? What fucking gamer has ever thought they were cool? And then past that, when you move on to the next topic of I'm going to tell these people who actually do this shit for 100 hours every single week that I'm one of them and I'm going to stream it live. You don't think that's going to go wrong?
Well, and it's funny too, because watching the reactions of like some of the top players, I have no connection to the PoE community, right?
Oh yeah, me neither. None.
But watching like people who are, I think you and I can both appreciate like people at the top of their game, right? In terms of video games. Watching them be like, this guy has no clue what the fuck he's doing, and trusting in that, like, like if they're saying it, this guy has no fucking clue what he's doing, right? He has absolutely no idea what's going on. And it's hilarious. To me, it is one of those things where it's like, man, you have $1 billion.
Multiple billions.
We have multiple billions of dollars. And like, you're using that to be like, I'm a top player in Path of Exiles too. That's hilarious to me. It's not even like, oh, that's pathetic. That's just laughable. It's just laughable at that point.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't get it. You know what? You know what?
That's
I think
true.
next,
fuck you money.
I think towards the end of the season, I'm just gonna show up at like some NFL game. Put me in, coach. I've watched many games. I'm a pro.
Yeah.
I know what to do.
I've seen a couple of games of this foosball.
I played Madden.
Yeah. I play Madden. I play NFL Blitz. Put me in. I know what's going on.
Unironically, I do play Retro Bowl. You ever played that game on your phone?
No, I've never.
If you like football, it's a fucking great little football game on your phone.
Hell yeah. No, the only real football video games. I don't know if we've had this conversation like early on in Time Well Met, but
say it.
I've played. What? What?
You gonna say NFL Street?
No, well, NFL Street. NFL Street
NFL
1 and 2.
Street was so good.
I still think NBA Street was the best. NBA Street 1, 2,
NBA
and 3
Street
are
was so
so
good, too.
good. But NFL Blitz was my game. My dad got me that game. Me and him used to play all the time. That was the fucking shit, man. NFL Blitz up to like NFL Blitz like 2002, I think I played. Such weird and awesome fucking games. Like, oh man, such fun, man. It's such a weird experience too, though. Like thinking about like, because I think that you and I are kind of both in the same boat of like we got into gaming really early in our lives, right? I don't know about you, but I got into gaming. I got a Nintendo 64 when I was 6 years old at Christmas. My dad, yeah, and I can remember it so vividly. Such a good fucking Christmas. My parents got me a Nintendo 64, and that was like my first experience. You know what I mean?
I had exposure ahead of that with my older cousins playing on
okay.
NES.
I
and
completely.
playing
Yeah, I didn't even think about
Sega Genesis, fucking Game Gear, dude. I had a Game Gear, but I think I was probably 7 or 8, however our age gap is, and I got an N64 and like a little 19-inch TV for my birthday.
Fuck yeah!
Ooh, best birthday ever, dude. Pokemon Stadium. Whoa!
Hell yeah! Yeah, now that you say that, I do remember. I want to say my brother had a Nintendo 64 before I did. I actually kind of am curious if I got a hand-me-down or something, because like he had like I remember him playing Ocarina of Time, and I remember him playing on his NES when I was
Wave
like
Race.
Yeah, and I was like way too young to like understand any of this shit. So I didn't appreciate it nearly as much as I do now. But then obviously once I got a Nintendo 64 and like was able to play, like dude, I remember very vividly going to Blockbuster, and we had played one of the games that was like a staple in our household was Diddy Kong Racing. And one of the
me
characters-
too,
dude. One of the characters in Diddy Kong Racing is Conker. And so we went to Blockbuster, and one of the he's the squirrel. One of the games that was at Blockbuster was Conker's Bad Fur Day. Now my parents, being none the wiser, I love my parents. They're silly, goofy people. They were none the wiser to the fact that Conker, they look at that, oh, that's the character from this cute little racing game that we play with our kid. They don't give a fuck about the M that's on the rating. So they let me rent the game for 7 days. And the opening scene is Conker stumbling out of a bar drunk and pissing onto like the side of the bar. And I remember my mom being like, what the fuck is this?
That is actually, I never played Conker's Bad Fur Day. My
so
parents
good.
were just a little wiser. Did not allow that one.
Nope. My parents were like, it's surely fine. It's got this cute little character that we know from. So funny, man. So funny. Oh God. It was it was such a wild time. Early video gaming was always such a wild time. I remember like my dad taking me to go get like GTA 4. I was like 14. And the guy at the GameStop or EB Games or wherever we went to was like reading off everything, this violence and sexual content. And my dad was like, what am I buying you here? But then he bought it for me anyway. So I'm like,
wait, I'm getting the sickest sense of deja vu. Have we had this exact discussion on the show? Because I had the exact same experience with GTA Vice City of my grandpa taking me to GameStop, and the guy's like, violence, nudity, drugs, alcohol, blah, blah, blah. My grandpa just gives me this wide-eyed look, and I'm like, it's cool, Grandpa. And he goes, okay.
Yeah. It took a little convincing for my dad, but he was pretty much like, okay, like it's nothing you haven't played already. Like he knew I've been exposed to some fucked up shit already. I'm sure it's nothing new. And I think after the GTA one, it was like nothing. There was nothing you could tell unless it said like, don't buy this for your child. Nothing. He was like, okay, whatever. Like up until I was 18. I'm like, okay, whatever. So crazy. Oh man, dude, the good old days.
Big props to your dad and my grandpa.
Yeah. They knew that we were gonna be all right. We weren't gonna do anything crazy. We weren't gonna be wacky, goofy.
We just wanted to bang the prostitutes, kick them out the car, kill them, and get our money back,
and then run them over and take our money back. Yeah, exactly. So it's classic classic GTA fashion. Okay?
Classy. It's
Classy.
classy.
We were just running around Vice City and Liberty City, just doing our thing. Just doing our thing. Okay? Living.
And really, all of this is Silas's way of telling you that he's top 10 in the world at Conker's Bad Fur Day.
I am indeed. I never beat that game.
And he's going to live stream it later for 1.1 million completely real people.
On Twitter. Oh, Christ. Oh, God. Yeah, no, not going to do that. Man, funnily enough that you talk about Twitter, I know that one of the things that you posted on here, we have our topics. One of the things that you said in our list of topics is that we should get off socials and start reading more books. So tell me, what did you mean by that? You know, what are you thinking? What's in your mind? What's in your noggin?
We try to keep it apolitical around here. Sometimes we're not good at it, but we try. And some recent things have come to light in the past few days. Some stuff's going on in the world, whatever. We're not even going to get into it. It's not that important. I mean, it is important, but it's not important to this. And I just kind of had this inclination recently that I don't think social media is that good for me, you know? I'm just as guilty as everyone else here, you know. I be doom scrolling, watching 100 reels in a row, whatever. Yeah. So recently I was like, you know, I'm gonna wean myself. I'm gonna take a break, and to fill the time, because I've done this in the past before. I was like, fuck Facebook. It's not good for me. It's a waste of time. I'd delete it for a little while, and then I would just spend more time on Reddit. But this time I was like, no, not Reddit. I want to do something else. I need to find something else to do. So my favorite author in all of the world is Sir Terry Pratchett.
Okay.
Ever heard of that?
I've never heard of Sir Terry Pratchett.
He writes the Discworld series and several other books, and they are phenomenal. Phenomenal. Okay. I first discovered Terry Pratchett when I was 19 years old, and I got arrested and thrown into a jail cell overnight. And on top of the toilet, there was 2 books, and one of them was Terry Pratchett's Small Gods.
Okay.
I read that entire book during my incarceration, and I've just been a huge fan ever since. I will say this.
Oh, yeah.
My whole life, I've had kind of an issue with reading like a novel, get distracted, get bored, just give up. But Terry Pratchett, dude, the way he writes, he's one of, if not the only author I've ever experienced where I read what he writes and it makes me laugh out loud while I'm reading. The way he writes is so fucking funny. It's like snarky, you know? It's so good. And so that's what I've been doing. I'm not completely off. One of my big things is I want to find a way to download all my pictures off of Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Before we completely jump out of there. I think
there's a way to like save pictures some way or another. Yeah.
There is. I'm just hoping it's not too tedious. But I've been trying to just manually kind of not open the app on my phone, and I've just been reading some Terry Pratchett, bro, and it feels like life's a little more peaceful.
Yeah, I think I can definitely agree with you there. That I think that once you take a step back from, you know, one of the things there's a couple of sort of like, what do you call them? Not necessarily like off-brand, but just like non-mainstream news sources that I follow. And a lot of the times they talk about how like mainstream news is going to just kind of do the same thing, which is it's this cycle of like fear-mongering, right? Where they take a headline and they make it as horrifying as possible. Where if you like really take a step back and look at what's going on in the world, yeah, there's definitely, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's definitely some horrifying shit, some scary shit happening. You should definitely, keep yourself informed, keep yourself knowledgeable, understand that, you have an effect on this world, as silly as it might sound. You absolutely 100% do have an effect on this world. Your voice can matter if you make it so. But you should, again, always never live in ignorance, never live in a way where you are, just being subservient. I'm very much anti-establishment, very much sort of questioning things at all times. As I've gotten older, that's one of the things that's just kind of been normalized for me.
He's a punk.
And, you want to make sure that you're questioning things. But I think a big thing is too, is you need to also give yourself a break, right? As much knowledge as you can absorb, you need to make sure that you provide equal amounts of time to relaxation, to taking moments to breathe, right? I think that's a very important thing. I know that that sounds very cliche and whatever, but like taking a moment to just like take a deep breath, realize like in this, one of the things, okay, I'll say this. One of the things that my dad has taught me that has been such a lifesaver to me is think about the problems that you might have, or that might be in the world. If you want to think at that scale, think about the problems that you might have and realize like ask yourself the question of, can I do something about this right here and right now? And if the answer to that question is no, then that's it. There's nothing you can do. And that's fine. It's okay to not be able to do something about this right then and right there. If the answer to that question is no, then you save it for tomorrow. Then you wait and you plan and you can decide and you can figure things out as they go along. But if you can't solve that problem, if you can't solve the mass issues that are going on in the world right here and right now, then it's okay to put them on the back burner for a day. It's okay to say, you know what? I don't have an answer to this question. I don't have a solution to this problem. It's okay to be like, hey, you know what? I don't got that. I don't have that here right here right now. So
I don't got that.
Hey, listen, that over there, I don't got that.
I don't got that.
In terms of authors, I'll have to hold on. Give me like 2 seconds. I'm gonna do one thing I've never done, and I'm gonna step away for just like half a second. I have a book.
All kinds
here.
of firsts for you today, folks. We're getting drunk. We're stepping away from our cameras. We took a piss earlier.
Here.
He's gonna edit it out. Y'all might not have known. We both took a piss earlier.
You'll never know that we took a piss. This is my
Not
favorite.
Not together.
We weren't there holding each other's junk, like guiding ourselves.
That was all imagination.
Yes, we were thinking about it, but we didn't do it. This is my favorite author. It's funny too, because like growing up, I was never really into reading. I have a really hard time, again, distractions. I'm not very good at staying focused.
If a book doesn't hold me, I'm not gonna finish it.
Short stories, though, for me are kind of the thing. If I can do like short bursts of reading, this is Harlan Ellison. This is his greatest hits. This is basically an anthology of all of his books. For those of you who don't know, Harlan Ellison wrote a number of kind of science fiction-y stories. His most well-known story is a story by the name of I Have No Mouth and I Cannot, or I Have No Mouth, but I Must Scream.
Yeah,
yes.
Okay.
This Harlan Ellis. So, I mean, he has such fantastic stories. The way that he presents them, there's another story that one of the most impactful lines that I've ever read. Like, it was one of those things that, like, when I read it, like, it brought me to tears because I was like, this is just something so crazy. And it was, and I'm not going to spoil the story itself, but I will spoil this aspect of the story. It's this guy it's a story within a story, and it's this guy talking about this dog that he has. And this dog is incredibly intelligent. It's smarter than most humans that he's ever known. And at the end of this dog's life, he basically tells his human, he says, don't leave me with strangers. And that to me is such a fucking that hits me right fucking here, man. Something about that, just like right in the heart, just straight through, man. Something about that idea of like, man, at the end of my life, please don't leave me with strangers. Don't leave me with people I don't know. I want to be surrounded by those I love and by those I care about. That was something that like, oh my God, it set something off in me that was unknown. He also talks about one of the other stories that he has is, it talks about, like the idea of this perfected society where everything is on time, and being even a minute late completely puts everything behind schedule, and kind of this harlequin that goes around and fucks things up. He like throws a bunch of coins onto a conveyor belt that fucks it up and sets everything back by an hour, and it really ruins everyone's day. And just those sorts of stories of just like these like grandiose kind of ideas and very scientific sci-fi kind of wackiness, but they're all in pretty condensed short stories. It only takes not a very long period of time to read them. Excuse me. And it's one of those things that, he is a very controversial guy. He's definitely had a controversial past, but I think that it's one of those things where you can kind of separate the art from the artist and appreciate him for what he presented and the stories that he told. Again, if you don't read anything else, read I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. It speaks so true to where we are in current society, especially with the rise of AI. It very much surrounds that aspect. It can be a bit of a graphic read, and it can be one of those stories where you go, oh, I don't know how to feel about that at the end of it, but it is a telling tale. It's one of those things where he wrote this in like the 60s, and to have that sort of perspective even back then, and looking at it from the retrospective of now, is just so incredible. But that's the recommendation that I have is anything from Harlan Ellison. If you want to do a little bit more of a shorter story, if you want to shorten the length, you want to do some shorter stories. There you go. So,
I love it. I'll definitely check that out.
Hell yeah,
dude! You got to check out some Terry Pratchett.
I will. If you have some books, I'll just borrow them from you. I don't even have to buy them.
I've got the one for you.
There you go. It definitely is one of those things where, it's one of those things where I kind of figured out a while ago, I don't really want to, and I still do it to this day, but I try not to. I sit down, or I think like most of us are not sit down, but I lay down in my bed and I'm like, I'm going to bed. But what am I doing? I'm scrolling on my phone.
Look at your phone.
And I'm either playing games or I'm doing whatever. I'm on social media, whatever. And I'm up, and it's hard to fall asleep. And like, you wonder, like there's certain times, obviously, like I have issues with sleeping where, that are more natural, where it's like, I have a hard time sleeping in general, but compounding that with like screen time makes it even worse. And so it's definitely one of those things where like, I found that like, if I like sit there and, read a story or something, it's a little bit easier for me to like close that book and set it aside and be like, all right, I'm gonna pass out. You don't have that screen, that light that's like, blaring into your eyes and shit like that.
It is very stimulating if you're into the story and the author, but it's not as stimulating as just reading a story after a story that's completely disjointed things from all over the world.
Yeah,
or upsetting things, or here's what this
and then it gets you worked
asshole's
up
doing here.
Yeah. I think that's definitely some good advice to just take a step back. It's fine to be engaged. And don't get me wrong, funnily enough, it's funny that you talk about social media, because I saw a Facebook post the other day that made me want to scream at this person, where they were like, oh, you're so upset about TikTok getting banned. And, which funnily enough, when TikTok got banned, or when people thought that TikTok was going to get banned, people ran to Rednote, which was like an even more Chinese app. It's like basically Chinese Instagram. So it's like that whole idea of like national security was just such a farce. And like, we're not going to get into that too much, but you know what I mean? Like people ran off to this other app. And then when it came back, I saw this post and it was like, man, people were so like upset about, TikTok getting banned. And it's like, why don't you go outside and like talk to your neighbor or talk to whoever? It's like, because it's a way for us to connect. You know what I mean? Like this person that I saw, she's of an older generation, and it's one of those things where like, you'll just never understand how, we can connect, we can get news, we can get information, we can share life experiences, we can express thoughts and ideas, share our, small businesses. There's so much that you can do. And I understand it can be this super addictive, drool inducing, mind numbing sort of thing, and escape.
Brain rot.
But it is also a very meaningful tool for sharing information. So I don't know.
I've never really been super into TikTok. I wasn't too bothered by all that.
Yeah. And again,
my TikTok experience is actually opening TikTok like once a month to watch the 30 different TikToks that I've been sent by my friends. I get a very curated for me page in my DMs.
Absolutely. Oh man. Yeah. I don't know. There's something about there is, and I think that's kind of how I've approached life now, where you look at the positives and the negatives of everything. At least that's how I do it. I can see the positives and negatives of all things. And if I can't see it, then I will search for it. If I don't see a positive in something, I will search for a positive in something. That's just kind of how I choose to live life. You can decide to live it in some other fashion, but that's how I've decided to live mine.
Yep. Whatever works for you, rock it.
Yeah, whatever works for you. And I think what works for us is sitting here talking about all this bullshit. I am still amazed that anybody would sit here and listen to us fucking drone on for fucking hours about whatever it is that we're talking about.
Well, I mean, it kind of makes sense because we are the top 10 podcasts in the world.
Yeah. Yes. And we earned that spot too. We didn't pay for it at all.
Yeah,
we earned it.
Yeah, we earned it.
We earned it. Listen, Time Well Meant is known for being known across the land. Okay. For being the podcast to listen to for all accurate and appropriate information that needs to be shared between
for
peers.
all demographics, for all people.
Demographics, everyone's tuning in right at Saturday at noon, provided that I remember to actually upload at the right time.
Whole families tune in, man. I got a video last week and it was beautiful. The whole family, all 8 children, mom and dad, they were sitting there watching the premiere. It's beautiful.
Everyone's sitting down.
And when TJ came out on the screen, dude, they all started cheering.
Everyone got on their feet. Yeah, yeah. They were throwing flowers in the air. They were throwing flowers. There wasn't even a stage, but they were throwing flowers on stage. They were cheering. There were fireworks in the streets.
And you can't disprove any of this.
You don't have any fucking proof. We're telling the truth. We are. Not or are we? We absolutely are. We never lie. We've never once lied on this podcast.
Well, not purposely.
Oh, shit. Listen, we would love to sit here and lie to you over and over again for the next several decades. And we probably will, hopefully, if everything goes right. Oh, man. We would love to just keep going on and on. But I think, if I recall correctly, that was Time Well Meant.
Cheers.
I have been dialed in to this drama.
Communication is alpha.